Dandavas Pranam, Shri Prabhupada ki Jai. Thank you, Mataji, for joining Bhakti Sangha conference call. Hare Krishna. Okay. I welcome all of you once again. Thank you everyone for joining today's Bhakti Sangha conference call. Next, we will move on to the Srimad Bhagavatam class. Today, we are really fortunate to have His Grace Gaur Vilas Prabhuji to enlighten us on the topic of Srimad Bhagavatam 7.7.29 onwards. Prabhuji is here. Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Please accept all of our humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you Prabhuji for giving your valuable time and association in this Bhakti Sangha conference call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, thank you Mataji, thank you all the devotees for this opportunity to serve. We'll begin with our prayers. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dudati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padagamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Pada Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamsha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Nitinamine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gaurvani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashantyade Shatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktarinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, welcome everyone. We are discussing from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 7, Chapter 7, verse 29. Tatropaya sahasranam ayam bhagavatoditaha yadishware bhagavati yatha yairanjasaratihi. Translation. Of the different processes recommended for disentanglement from material life, the one personally explained and accepted by the Supreme Personality of Godhead should be considered all perfect. This process is the performance of the duties by which the love for the Supreme Lord develops. Purport. Among the linking processes that elevate one from bondage to material contamination, the one recommended by the Supreme Lord should be accepted as the best. That process is clearly explained in Bhagavad Gita, where Lord says, Sarvadharman Parityajya Mamekam Sharanam Raja. Abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender to me. This process is the best because the Lord assures, Aham Tvam Sarva Papebhyo Mokshayishyami Ma Shuchaha. I shall deliver you from all sinful reactions, do not fear. There is no need to be worried, for the Lord himself assures that he will care for his devotee and save him from the reactions of sinful activities. Material bondage is a result of sinful activity. Therefore, since the Lord assures that he will dissipate the results of fruitive material activities, there is no need to be worried. This process of understanding one's position as a spirit soul and then engaging oneself in the devotional service is therefore the best. The entire Vedic program is based on this principle, and one can understand it as recommended in the Vedas. Yasya deve parabhaktir yatha deve tatha guru tasyete kastahi artha pratakante mahatmanaha. Unto those great souls who have implicit faith in both the Lord and the spiritual master, all the imports of Vedic knowledge are automatically revealed. Shvetashvatara Upanishad 6.23. One must accept the pure devotee, the representative of God, as one's guru, and then offer him all the respect one would offer to the Supreme Personality of God. This is the secret of success. For one who adopted this method, the perfect process is revealed. In this verse, the words Yairanjasaratihi indicates that by offering service and surrendering to the spiritual master, one is elevated to devotional service. And by performing devotional service, one gradually becomes attached to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Because of this attachment to the Lord, one can understand the Lord. In other words, one can understand what the Lord's position is, what our position is, and what our relationship is. All this can be understood very easily by the simple method of Bhakti Yoga. As soon as one is situated on the platform of Bhakti Yoga, the root cause of one's suffering and material bondage is destroyed. This is clearly explained in the next verse, which gives the secret of success. Hare Krishna. So this is a very, very beautiful section going on in Srimad Bhagavatam, where Prahlad Maharaj is himself instructing his classmates about the power of devotional service. After hearing all the wonderful instructions in the last chapter, the boys they are asking, how you learned all this? Because you are always with us. At least we have some free time, but after your school is over, you go to your palace. From where you have learned all this? So Prahlad Maharaj he describes what happened, how Narad Muni he protected his mother and he gave instructions to Kayadhu, and the small child in the womb was hearing. Prahlad heard everything. And then Hiranyakashipu, when he came back, Narad Muni, he just sent Kayadhu back to her home. And because of the association with Hiranyakashipu, she forgot all the knowledge. But Prahlad, he told, I didn't forget. I remembered all the knowledge. And therefore I am practicing this devotional service. And then in subsequent verses, he describes how the process of devotional service is the perfect way. And in this verse, he is very conclusively telling that there are various ways to perfect one's life. Karma, jnana, yoga, bhakti. But of all the various ways, the best way is that which is explained by Lord himself and accepted by the Lord himself. Because if somebody wants to know which is the best version of the Microsoft, we will ask the person who is the maker of the Microsoft. So the person who has made something, he knows which is the best product. And Supreme Lord Krishna, who has made all the various yogas, is Yogeshwara. Yatra Yogeshwara Krishna. That Yogeshwara Krishna, he knows which is the best method to practice devotional service. And Srila Prabhupada, he is very nicely describing since the beginning of this purport, the best way to practice devotional service, to develop connection with the Lord is to practice devotional service. And this is the consistent theme throughout Bhagavatam. Sometimes people ask, Srila Prabhupada, he has written Bhagavad Gita, but he has not described very technically the whole message of Bhagavad Gita. Prabhupada has given a bhakti commentary on Bhagavad Gita. Wherever Karma Yoga is there, Prabhupada is writing practice devotional service. Jnana is there, Prabhupada is saying bhakti. Even yoga is there, Prabhupada is saying bhakti. So why Prabhupada is not technically explaining the verses? Why he is always giving the bhakti yoga only? And this creates confusion in the minds of many. And they ultimately think that Srila Prabhupada is not giving the exact understanding according to the flow of Bhagavad Gita. We have to understand Srila Prabhupada, he is describing the ultimate instruction of Bhagavad Gita in every purport of Bhagavad Gita. One time, Srila Prabhupada he was doing translation at the night, and every morning, one disciple would come, he would take the tape or the dictaphone, and he would just transcribe everything. And in dictaphone, there is a numbering system, digits, how many hours Srila Prabhupada translated, spoke. So sometimes the digit was 80 or 100. Sometimes it was 20 only. So this devotee was thinking, what is this? Prabhupada is awake every day for same amount of time. From 12 to 4, he is there writing, translating. How is it that sometimes only 20, sometimes 80, 100? So he asked Prabhupada, Prabhupada, what is the reason of difference? Every day you are there for 4 hours. Like yours. You have to just hear and transcribe, write it down. But I have to think. I have to think how this knowledge will go in the dull brains of the modern civilization, and it will go for next 10,000 years. I have to think. Every word Prabhupada has thought very thoroughly and spoken. And the way Prabhupada has written it, his books is amazing. None of the author would do that. Because just by speaking once, you know that I'm speaking perfect. Many times the writers, they edit and then change so many things and statements up and down. Prabhupada didn't do anything. Prabhupada knew that whatever is coming from my mouth, it is the words of Krishna. So Srila Prabhupada, he knows the situation of Kali Yuga people. Prayan alpayusha sabhya kalavasmin yuge jana manda sumanda matayo manda bhagya upatrita. Always disturbed, unfortunate. Vyasdev, when he saw the condition of people of Kali Yuga, he wrote down all the scriptures. Earlier it was all heard, Shruti. But Srila Prabhupada, he saw that people of Kali Yuga, they didn't have the power to grasp all the technical information. Done. No intellectual capacity to handle all the spiritual knowledge, all the intellectual details given in the Vedas. No capacity. So therefore, Prabhupada, he knew a person will take Bhagavad Gita and then he'll come to read Karma Yoga. Oh, the essence is Karma Yoga. I'll practice Karma. Oh, Jnana. Oh, Yoga. And the end result will be very difficult. Because nobody will reach the end of Bhagavad Gita, where Sarva Dharman Paityajya is given. As Srila Prabhupada writes in this purport. That is the epitome. Give up everything and surrender unto me. But to reach that, it is a difficult task for people of Kali Yuga. So therefore, Srila Prabhupada, he didn't want to take that risk. That's why he gave the end instruction, the conclusion of Bhagavad Gita in every page of Bhagavad Gita. That is the glory of Srila Prabhupada. Because he knew this is the most perfect path. This is the only path. As Shukdev Goswami describes, Nahiyato anya shiva pantha vishata samsrita viha vasudeve bhagavati bhakti yogo yato bhavet. Nahiyato anya shiva. Anya shiva means there is no other auspicious path. Vishata samsrita viha, for people who are in this material world, there's only one path. Vasudeve bhagavati bhakti yogo yato bhavet. Only by the practice of devotional service one can achieve the highest perfection of life. This chance to practice bhakti we have received, it is not an not an easy achievement. It must have taken millions of lives to come to this understanding. It must have been all the species of life we had to travel. Then now we have come to this human form. And even in the human form, 8 billion population now, how many are devotees? What I was asking one group of people, can you guess how many people on the planet are chanting Hare Krishna? Can anyone guess here? One round, two rounds, up to 16 rounds. How many people must be chanting among these 8 billion people on current our population? How many must be chanting this Hare Krishna mantra? And people were guessing, speculating. Any guesses here? You can put on the chat. How many? You may be knowing also, or how many must be chanting? One round to 16 rounds number. We may be thinking, well, there must be many. There must be at least crores of people. You know. Okay, somebody saying 2 lakhs, 3 lakhs, maybe 1% of the population. 1% is too big a number. 1% means what? 1% of 8 billion comes to what? It is few crores, I think. Actually, on this entire planet, there are 5 to 6 lakh people who are chanting Hare Krishna, connected to ISKCON. And among those, how many may be chanting 16 rounds of Hare Krishna mantra every day? Any guesses? How many may be chanting 16 rounds of Hare Krishna mantra every day? It is very, very wonderful statistics. This number will make us realize how rare we are. There are not even 1 lakh people. Yes, thank you, Rom. Around 1 lakh people all over the planet. That's all. It is such a rare, opportunity. Find out the ratio. It is a rare opportunity. The things which we hear in Bhagavatam so easily described throughout the Bhagavatam, the process of devotional service is described. It is not so easily available. So therefore, when Prahlad Maharaj says this is the most perfect path, all perfect path, this all perfect path is not easily available. This path which is given by Krishna, Sarva Dharman Parityajya, it was not easily available and it is still not easily available. Although Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he has made it so easily available, but still people are still not taking to it. Can you imagine if Mahaprabhu would not have been there? What must be the situation? Yadi Gaur na hoito, tabe ki hoito, e mone dharitam de, Radhar Mahima, Prema Rasa Sima, Jagata Janato ke. Who would have been knowing all these wonderful details of Krishna consciousness? As Ramanand Rai is asking, as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is asking Ramanand Rai, what is the ultimate sadhya? So, what is ultimate sadhya? And Ramanand Rai begins with Varna Shrama Acharvata Purushena Parapuman. Mahaprabhu says, oh, Bahya. And then uh, he comes to this Gyan Karma Mishra Bhakti, Yat Karoshi, Yat Ashnasi, Yat Juhoshi, Bahya. Gyan Mishra Bhakti, Eho Bahya, Gyan Shunya Bhakti. Then he says, Eho Hai. ज्ञाने प्रयासमुदपास्य नमन्त एव जीवन्ति सन्मुखरितां भवदीय वार्ता. Mahaprabhu says, can you explain a little more? Can you go more deeper? Then he comes to sadhana bhakti, then bhava, and then prema bhakti. It is so very rare, even in varnashrama, even in the Vedic culture. This bhakti is so very rare. When a jiva comes in this material world, he starts misidentifying himself, forgets his original constitutional position. Jivera Surup Hoy Krishnera Nityadas gets covered with the layers of ignorance, subtle body and then gross body. Krishna Bhuliya Jiva Bhogwancha Kare, and then is captured by Maya Devi, and then ultimately he gets more and more ignorant. By the process of devotional service, this ego, which is one of the subtle coverings, which is the most powerful covering, the ego. Time destroys everything, but not ego. Ego is not destroyed by time. Ego becomes more powerful and pronounced with the passing away of time. Gajendra, when he's offering prayers to the Lord, after offering few prayers, he realizes that, oh my Lord, actually, I don't want to be liberated from the clutches of this crocodile. I want to be liberated from this gross body, especially this body of an elephant, which is so very dull. Jijivishena hamuhamuyakim antarbahishchavritaya bhayonya ichhami kalena nayasya viplava tasyatmaloka varnayasya moksham. Oh my Lord, I don't want to live anymore. जिजीविषे na aham iha amuya kim, because antar bahishcha avrit. I am covered internally also, externally also. Internally, ignorance is covering, and externally, this elephant body is covering. Ichhami kalena, kala destroys everything, but not this ego. Nayasya viplava. So this thick ignorance of ahankar, this covering of ahankar, it is so very powerful. Nothing can destroy this. That's why Rishabdev says it is madness here. Nunam pramatta. Certainly people are completely mad. Pramatta, prakrishta rupena matta. Nunam pramatta kurute vikarma. And that's why they're doing all the sinful activities. Why? Indriya priti, to satisfy the senses. And we have tried to enjoy the sense gratification in so many species of life. But the interesting thing is, none of the sense gratification has given us satisfaction. Our ignorance has become more and more powerful, thick. Therefore, Srila Prabhupada is describing in this purport, there is only one thing which can destroy the bondage of material contamination. Among all the various processes, bhakti is the best. It is the only process capable of destroying all the contamination. Srila Rupa Goswami describes in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu the 6 secondary characteristics of devotional service. Kleshagni, Shubhada, Moksha Laghutakrit, Sandrananda Visheshatma, Sudurlabha, and Sri Krishna Akarshini. The process of devotional service is Klesh Aghani. It relieves from all the material distress. Shubhada, it creates all auspiciousness. Sudurlabha, it is rarest of the rare gift. Sandrananda Visheshatma, in front of the bliss of bhakti, even Brahmanand is insignificant. Moksha Lagutakrit, a devotee is not interested in liberation. And it is the only thing which attracts Krishna, Sri Krishna Akarshini. So this process of bhakti, it is all powerful. It can destroy all the contaminations. Gradually, as we go from Shraddha to Prema, our sinful reactions, they, they start, our sinful disposition, it gets destroyed. So distress gets destroyed as we progress in bhakti. One gets free from all the material distress. As we go from Shraddha, Sadhu Sangha, Bhajan Kriya, Anartha Nivritti, Kleshagni starts right at the stage of Anartha Nivritti. But actual Kleshagni starts manifesting at the stage of Nishtha. What is that Klesha? That Klesha is not about feeling of hot and cold and no, it is about our sinful disposition, our sinful karma. It completely starts getting destroyed. So that is how we have to understand this prarabdha karma, which is like a water coming out of the stored tank. Water which is stored in the tank, that is prarabdha. That is sanchit karma. Prarabdha karma means the water which comes out of the tap. And the water in the pipeline is called as aprarabdha karma, that is yet to come. All this destruction of the prarabdha happens so quickly that a person doesn't even realize. The process of bhakti is so powerful. Rupa Goswami describes, he quotes the words from Padma Purana. Aprarabdha phalam papam kutam bijam phalonmukham kramenaiva praliyeta Vishnu bhaktir. As soon as one starts practicing bhakti, aprarabdha, papa, kuta, bija, everything gets destroyed. And it doesn't take much time. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur gives an example. It is just like a person piercing a bunch of the lotus leaves with a needle. How much time it takes? It happens very quickly. That's why Kramena Eva means it happens so quickly, but although it is in progression, Prarabdha gets destroyed, Prarabdha gets destroyed, and then the disposition also gets destroyed. The desire to do sinful activity gets destroyed. Bhakti is so powerful. It is said that we cannot perform enough sinful activities which cannot be nullified by chanting one name of the Lord. That's the power of the holy names. But that does not mean that we will use the holy name to purify ourselves after committing sin. Then it becomes an offense against the holy name. Namno baladesya papa buddhi. That is described to show the power of the holy name. Chanting is so powerful. The names of the Lord are so powerful that unlimited sins get destroyed. Just like the fire burns the firewood, bhakti purifies all the sinful reactions which are yet to be manifested. Aprarabdha. Bhakti is compared to digestive fire many times. How digestive fire works? It is very specific. Doesn't destroy the nutrients. It destroys all the waste materials and doesn't destroy the nutrients. Similarly, bhakti destroys all the anarthas and activates our spiritual senses. That's how bhakti works. Jnana and yoga, they destroy the subtle body. They also destroy the karmic reactions, but they don't activate the spiritual senses. That's the difference. Bhakti activates the spiritual senses. Jnana and yoga, they are not capable of doing it. Digestive fire takes time to digest the food. It is not that now you eat and after 5 minutes ready again. No, it takes time. Similarly, devotional service takes time to purify us. It is a gradual, slow process of purification. Third reason why bhakti is compared to digestive fire. If the person has a good digestive fire, he does not have to do anything else to digest the food. It is not that after eating the food, you have to go and do a walk or take some churna or some digestive powder or something to digest. No. If the fire is perfectly burning, it will automatically do everything. Similarly, the process of devotional service is so powerful. It is sufficient to destroy all the anarthas, all the sinful reactions, and one does not have to go anywhere else. I should do some anger management course also because I think bhakti will not help in that. We should never have this idea that bhakti is not capable of doing something. Just taking shelter of sincere practice of devotional service will purify us of all the sinful desires and anarthas also. Jarayatiyashu yakosham nigirnam analoyatha. Bhakti dissolves the subtle body gradually. That is very, very powerful thing. And after practicing Krishna consciousness, one may be thinking, well, it happens for advanced devotees, right? I am still a practicing sadhaka. It will take time for me to, for bhakti to destroy all my sinful reactions. No, it is not like that. The beginning of the pure faith is sufficient to destroy all our karmic reactions. Karmani nirdhati kintucha bhakti bhajam. What is that pure faith? It is not about getting purified completely of all the anarthas. It is about developing a pure faith. What is pure faith? Pure faith means the faith that Krishna is my savior. I will not go to anyone. I will not take shelter of the Devtas. I will not take shelter of any other things mentioned in the scriptures. All the other things like all the yagyas and astrology and all the other things, I will not take shelter of any of them. I will not go to any Devata for the solution of my problems. For me, Krishna is my master. That is the faith a devotee has. And with that faith, as soon as one starts chanting, one is freed from all the karmic reactions. And after this, whatever happens in the life of a devotee, it is orchestrated by the Lord Himself. Whatever good things and the bad things happening in the life of a practicing devotee is happening by the will of the Lord and plan of the Lord. So the entire description of Klesh Agni is given to make us realize the power of the bhakti. It is sufficient. It is sufficient to destroy everything. Only thing required is faith. One of the Prabhupada disciples, he recalls that Prabhupada was with Kinchan Krishna Das Babaji Maharaj once. And they were speaking Bengali, and then at one point of time, Prabhupada said in English, Babaji Maharaj, look at my disciples. See how advanced they are. See how much they love me. See how much attentive they are. to each and every word I speak. They are here to listen and follow whatever I say. And Akinchan Krishnadas Babaji Maharaj said, yes, they are advanced. And this devotee was thinking, well, we are just few months in Krishna consciousness, and Prabhupada is saying we are advanced. So what does it mean by advanced devotee? Then he was contemplating on what Srila Prabhupada spoke. Prabhupada told Babaji Maharaj, my disciples are advanced. You know why? Because they are attentive to each and every word I say, and they are ready to follow it. That makes one an advanced devotee. The sincere faith in the words of the Guru and Krishna, that makes one advanced devotee. Just the practice of bhakti is sufficient. In the beginning only, all this is destroyed. Our prarabdha is destroyed. How prarabdha is destroyed? Rupa Goswami gives an example. Yannamadheyam Yannamadheya Shravananukirtana Yat Brahmanad Yasmaranadapi Kvachit Swadopi Sadhya Savanaya Kalpate Kuta Punaste Bhagavannu Darshanat. This is one of the prayers of Devahuti. Last chapter of third canto. She's saying, oh my Lord, what to speak of the advanced position of those who get your darshan? Because just by chanting your names, a person who is born in the family of dog eaters also gets purified. What to speak of those who get a chance to have your darshan? So prarabdha means that reaction which we are suffering now. He gives an example of a person born in the low family. That is a prarabdha. Previous some bad activity, now born in the family of dog eaters or a low class family. He says that person also becomes purified. He is capable enough to practice devotional service. Savanaya kalpate. He should be considered more purified than Brahmana. So therefore, it is very, very important to have this faith that bhakti purifies all the sins. Sometimes, after practicing Krishna consciousness, it seems that my anarthas are increasing. I am getting all these thoughts, all these desires. I don't know from where they have come. I never planned like this. I never thought anything like this in my whole life. I don't know why such things are happening to me now. Srila Prabhupada, he writes a beautiful purport in the fourth canto, 29th chapter, 69th verse. In that, Narad Muni is telling to Prachina Barhi, a person who is practicing Krishna consciousness, he is in such a state that Krishna shows him all the previous desires which which he has in his mind. Prabhupada writes a purport here. I'll read that. Why we see things not experienced in this life? That which we see is the future expression of a gross body or is already stocked in our mental stockpile. Because the Krishna conscious person does not have to accept a gross body, his recorded desires are fulfilled in dream. So as a practicing devotee, we may see that all these anarthas, they are increasing, I think. No. Krishna is showing them what is there inside the mind and purifying of all those anarthas. That is the way Krishna acts in our life. So when we see that problems are increasing, Anarthas are increasing. It is Krishna who has started acting in our lives, orchestrating our life situations in such a way that we can come close to Him, keeping faith in the Lord in all circumstances. That is called as Asha Bandha. A devotee, he is always having this faith. Avashya Rakshibe Krishna iti Vishwaspal. And Bhagavatam is full of such examples. Kunti Maharani, Pandavas, they went through so much. In Brihad Bhagavatamrit, there's a description. Yudhishthir Maharaj is telling to Krishna, Krishna, we are scared to tell about our life to any of the people in the world because we are fearful that after hearing what has happened to us, nobody will become your devotee. Because if all these things are happening to us, why people will become? But Pandava, Yudhishthira Maharaj is saying all these things, but by his own example, by their example, they are showing the world what is a devotee. What all happened in the life of Pandavas. Even if a glimpse of all that happens to us, we'll start thinking, what is this happening? Why Krishna is doing all this? And if a person who is just coming to Krishna consciousness and the problems start increasing, he will tell, just keep the bead bag with you. I'm going. You only chant. He will tell the senior persons, you only chant on my behalf. I don't want to chant. But all these Pandavas, they're showing what is a devotee. Bhishma, he tells Yudhishthir Maharaj, this is after the battle of Kurukshetra. Bhishma is lying on the bed of arrows. Krishna takes all the Pandavas to meet Bhishma Dev. Aho kashtam, aho anyayam, yadyuyam dharmanandana, jivatam narata klishtam vipra dharmachyutashraya. Kashtam, what calamity, what injustice, anyayam. You are the sons of Dharma personified, Dharmanandana. But you went through so much, you did not even deserve to live. But because you never gave up following three things Vipra, Dharma, and Achyuta. You always took shelter of the saintly devotees, you took shelter of Dharma, and you took shelter of Krishna. Therefore, you could sail through all this difficulty. So, devotee should have this unflinching faith. Whatever is happening in my life, it is a plan of the Lord. And a devotee should always try to see that silver lining in the sky. What Krishna wants me to learn, how Krishna wants me to become strong in this situation. Because it is not our sinful reactions which are manifesting, it is Krishna working. And if we live with this understanding, tolerating problems will be will not be such a difficult thing. Because you know that it is Krishna who has put me in this situation, it is not my karma. It will be easy to handle them. Because ultimately, we will know that Krishna has a plan for me. So that's why all these devotees, they don't fear. We need to pray to Krishna to give us that faith. That is what happens. And that's what is described again and again in Bhagavatam. Right there in the beginning, Narad Muni is explaining his own life to Vyasdev, how he came to Krishna consciousness. I was a son of a maid servant, and I was the only son, and she was my only shelter. Only two of us were there. The Bhaktivedantis came, my mother was serving them, I assisted her in her service, And these Bhaktivedantis, they allowed me to hear Bhagavatam. They allowed me to take the remnants of food which they were honoring. And my love arose in my heart. And then ultimately, 4 months were over, they left. One day, my mother, she went to the forest to milk cows. There she was bitten by a serpent. She died. Ekatmaja me janani yoshin mudha chakinkari. She was a simple maid servant. She had no one. She wanted to help me. She wanted to give me all the facilities, all the comfort. She was not able to do so. And what happened? She also died. Such a disaster. An ordinary person, if he gets into this situation, you know what he will say? Just see how cruel the Lord is. I served him so much. I served his devotees, and just see what he has done to me. But what was the response of Narada Muni? Small boy, 5 years old boy. Tada tadamishasya bhaktanam sham abhipsidah anugraham manyamana pratishtam dishamuttaram. Tada tadaham ishasya. That Supreme Lord, he is always desiring welfare of his devotees. Bhaktanam sham. Sham means auspicious. Sham karoti iti Shankara. Shankar means what? One who creates auspiciousness for everyone. So Narad Muni is saying, Anugraham Manyamana, I consider this extreme mercy. That is not so easy to understand. Maturity to accept the reversals as the mercy of Krishna, it is not an easy realization. Whatever happens in the life of a devotee, it is the plan of the Lord. Narad could have blamed the Lord, but he took it as mercy of the Lord. What mercy is there in this? If the mother could have lived, they both could have practiced bhakti, but the Lord knew the situation. The Lord must have thought if the mother remains, this child will never develop utter dependence on me. He'll depend on his mother. So the plans of the Lord are inconceivable. How Lord works in our life, it is inconceivable. That is what Bhishma is telling to Pandavas. Nobody can understand how these things are happening to you. It is the time factor. Sarvam kala kritam manye bhavatam chayadapriyam sapalo yadvashe loko vayoriva kanavali. It is the time factor which is working. And then he says, you know, what is this time factor? He says, you see this personality standing in front, this Krishna? Don't think he's your maternal cousin. Yanmanyase matuleyam surin mitram priyattam akarot sachivam dutam sauridat atha sarathi. Are you thinking he's your maternal cousin, Matuleyam? He's your chariot driver, he's your messenger, he is your protector, he is none of them. You know who is he? Eshavai Bhagavan Sakshat. He is the same Supreme Lord. Adyo Narayana Kuman. He is the original personality. He has appeared in your house, in your dynasty. And he is orchestrating everything in your life. So, a devotee, he has this understanding that whatever is happening in my life, it is not my karma. Karma is already gone. It is the will of the Lord which is happening in my life. And understanding that, devotee learns to give right responses. Devotional service is ultimately about developing right responses. In the case of Uttanpad and Suniti, Uttanpad, after Dhruva left, he realized his mistake. And as soon as he realized his mistake, he left for the forest even before Dhruva was married. He understood what is my responsibility now. Parikshit Maharaj, when he was cursed by the Shringi, he took it as mercy of the Lord. He was thinking, I was so attached to my family life. And I knew, and the Lord knew that I would not be able to practice bhakti with intensity. तस्यैव मेघस्य परावरेशो व्यासक्तचित्तस्य गृहेष्वभीक्षणम् आसक्तचित्त. So therefore, what Lord did, Nirveda Mulo Divjashapa Rupo. He came in the form of the curse of this Brahmana boy. Cut off all my attachments. Not only a prarabdha and prarabdha, even the bija gets destroyed. That sinful reaction which is not yet fructified, that also gets destroyed. It is like a seed which is roasted. If you roast a seed and sow in the ground, will it grow? No, it will never grow. Yeah. So bhakti, it roasts all the sinful seeds. It is completely destroyed. It never grows at all. That is the power of devotional service. And the classic example is a Jamil. Yamaraj tells to Yamdutas, just see, oh my Yamdutas, oh my children, just see. Namocharan Mahatmyam Hare Pashyata Putraka Ajamilopi Agadhama Mrityu Pashada Muchyata. Just see the power of the holy names. Ajamilopi Agadhama. Even Ajamil, he got delivered. So that is how we have to understand. The holy names are very powerful. Practice of bhakti is very, very powerful. It doesn't, the seeds don't get even fructified. And that's why when the Vishnu Dutas came and they told, this Achamil is pure, Yamdutas, they had a shock of their life. First of all, they thought, you look very, very saintly, pure, effulgent. But why are you saying all these wrong things? Do you know the background of this Achamil? What all he has done? There is not a single sin which he has not performed. He is the most sinful of all the personalities. So how can you say that this person is pure? He's purified. No, he is very sinful. Like Vishnu says, you don't know the power of chanting of the names of the Lord. The chanting of the names of the Lord are so powerful. Just by chanting unconsciously, one gets purified. Sanketyam parihasyam va stobham helanameva va vaikuntha nama grahnan asheshagha haram vidu. If somebody is chanting just to point out a devotee, oh, Hare Krishna Wala is going. If somebody is making fun of a devotee, oh, today you are going to, nowadays you are, spending lots of time in Hare Krishna temple. What is happening there? He's making fun of a devotee. Some people, they have come to ISKCON temple. Oh, music is very good there. I like that kirtan. They are not so much concerned about kirtan. They like the sound and the music. Stobham. Some people say, well, these people are good for nothing. They are just wasting the money. They are criticizing. This Hare Krishna people, they are just wasting time, money. They are not doing anything for the society. They are just chanting Hare Krishna. That's all. Any way you chant the names of the Lord, Ashesh Agha Haram, unlimited sins are destroyed. Then what to speak of if somebody chants with faith? What cannot happen? Our prarabdha gets destroyed, prarabdha gets destroyed, bija gets destroyed. Even kuta means the desire to do sin also gets destroyed. Parikshit Maharaj, in the beginning of the sixth canto, he asks Shukadeva Goswami. The last chapter of the fifth canto describes all the hells. And as a compassionate devotee, Parikshit is asking, how will these people get delivered? They are suffering so much. Shukadeva Goswami is testing Parikshit Maharaj. Well, they can do prayashchit, right? Prayashchit karenge, paap will get destroyed. Parikshit says, this prayashchit is like elephant bathing. What is this atonement? The sinful desire doesn't go. You do sinful reaction activity, then get purified by prayashchitta again. Do sinful activities like elephant bathing, manne kunjara chauchavat. Shukdev Goswami says, okay, if karma is not the path, jnana can destroy all the sins completely. Parikshit says, no. Even if the sins are destroyed, but still the desire is not destroyed. It is like the forest fire which burns away all the creepers, but still the roots are there. In the next rainy season, again it will grow. Then Parikshit Shukdev Goswami says, Kechit kevalaya bhaktya vasudeva parayana agam dhunvanti kartsnena niharamyiva bhaskaraha. Kechit, certainly. Kevalaya, only. Bhaktya, by devotional service. Kechit kevalaya bhaktya vasudeva. Unto whom? Bhakti unto whom? Vasudeva. You know what will happen? All the sins get destroyed, all the sinful reactions, all the sinful dispositions, they all get destroyed, just like when the sun rises, the fog gets completely dissipated. No trace remains. That's the power of devotional service. So therefore, the process of bhakti is such a wonderful process, the best process to develop connection with the Lord. And that's what this verse says. The process by which one can develop love for Krishna. There is no other path as efficient, as powerful as the process of. So that is the understanding. We'll stop here. Any questions anybody has? Hare Krishna. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you. Thank you so much for this very, very wonderful class. It was really thought-provoking. Everyone are giving their comments that we're very grateful for this very wonderful class. Thank you, Prabhuji. Yeah, you very nicely brought out the importance of how only bhakti can solve all the problems. That is the only solution and the power of holy name. Thank you. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. So there are two hand raises. Hare Krishna. I request Jyoti Mataji, you can ask a question.
Krishna, Dhanvat Pranam Mataji. Thank you for allowing me to ask the question. Hare Krishna, Dhanvat Pranam Prabhuji. Thank you so much for giving your session today. Because I was attentive, I have two questions. One is you mentioned about the karmas that we will suffer because of our karma, but when we are in devotion, then the Lord will interfere if we allow Him to. So, how we will understand that what we are suffering right now is because of our karma or Lord is interfering? Is my first question. And my second question is you mentioned.
I'll answer that question. It is because Lord is interfering in our lives. whatever is happening in the life of a devotee, it is not because of his karma. Karma is completely handled by the Lord. He has bhakti is sufficient to destroy all the karma right in the beginning of the Adav Shraddha. That simple faith is sufficient to destroy. With that simple faith, if one chants, it is sufficient to destroy all the karmic reactions. After that, whatever happens in the life of a devotee, if the Lord wants, He will allow us to go through all the reactions, but it is not karmic reactions. It is Lord orchestrating those things in our life. So that is the faith, that is the understanding which our devotee should have. Otherwise, we will always think, well, I am not still purified. No, that means we have not understood the process of devotional service. Karma is not a question for a practicing bhakta. Although out of humility, we say that we are suffering, I am suffering because of my anarthas, by my karma. But if that humility is interfering in our intellectual and philosophical understanding of the process of devotional service, that becomes an impediment. Because bhakti is powerful enough to destroy all the karmic reactions. It is Krishna interfering and doing everything in the life of a devotee. All the apparent good and the bad, which is happening in the life of a devotee, is happening by the will of the Lord. It doesn't happen for a person who is not practicing bhakti, who has not developed pure faith. It happens for a devotee who has developed pure faith. Then Krishna takes over. Then Krishna orchestrates the life of a devotee. We may not be yet purified of our anarthas and conditionings, but it is not our karma. So that should be very clear with every devotee. All the good and the bad happening in the life of a devotee is Krishna doing it. Why? To make us more purified of our anartha so that we can take his shelter more. And why devotee suffers? Not because of karma, because of two things, because of two reasons. Because we commit offenses and because Krishna puts us in that situation. It is not our karma working here. It is our offenses and it is the will of Krishna which is working here. So that is the understanding.
So, Prabhuji, we are getting another life, and again we are able to come into the devotion. It is because of our anarthas, right? It is because of our offenses that we are getting a next life. Because there is a halt in the journey, right? When we are practicing devotion, even we are trying to surrender to the maximum, and we are trying to understand the selfishness that is there, and then we slowly traveling towards that unselfish condition. And if we leave the body, then the next life again we have to undergo, because we are doing some offenses in the previous life. Is my understanding correct?
Yes. If Krishna thinks that, okay, this devotee needs few more lives to get purified, Krishna will put us in that situation. But it is not Yamraj working on us. A devotee will never go to hellish situations of life. A devotee will never go to Yamraj. Yamraj himself tells the Yamdutas, please, my dear sons, understand whom to bring here. So very, very wonderful words Yamraj tells. Jihvanavakti Bhagavad Gunanamadheyam Chetaschana Smardita Charanarabindam Krishnaya no namati yashire kadapi tananayadvam asato krit Vishnu Krityan. Whom to bring? Those who are not chanting with faith. Jihvanavakti Bhagavad Gunam, Bhagwan ki jihva, Bhagwan ka naam nahi le rahe. Chetaschana Smarati. If somebody is not remembering Krishna with pure heart means pure faith. Heart may be full of anarthas. Faith should be pure. Krishnaya no namati, if we are not offering obeisances to Krishna, those who are not doing all these things, bring them. So a devotee will never go to Yamraj. He'll never see the hellish situations of life. Even if by mistake he or she does a most sinful thing, still he will not go to hell. That is the assurance Krishna gives. If Krishna desires, he'll put us in certain situations of life to get us purified.
Yeah, let him do. Prabhuji, the second question is about the devotional service. You mentioned that when we have the devotional service, we should develop the right responses. So my question to you is that right responses is consisting of many realizations about our conduct and behavior. Then we will understand what exactly is the needful in that particular situation, which goes in sync with the Krishna conscious, like what exactly is important and what goes towards Krishna. Is my understanding correct?
Yes. Over a period of time, Krishna gives us the right intelligence, how to act in certain situations. Depending on our intensity of practice of bhakti, Krishna will give realization. Krishna will give us maturity. It doesn't happen overnight. It is directly proportional to our intensity of our practice, our sincerity, our seriousness. All that decides when Krishna will show mercy. Thank you, Hare Krishna.
So, Prabhuji, what we have to pray for that realizations to happen, even though we are acting for the devotional service, how we should pray for that realizations to occur or to have that, because that is the real wealth. If we don't have a taste, then we won't understand how to have that right responses.
Realization means you act according to the Guru Parampara instructions. When we learn to apply, please read 1:4:1 purport. The first canto, fourth chapter, first verse purport. Srila Prabhupada writes, what is realization? Realization is not some otherworldly feeling which will come automatically. Realization means we learn to present things according to time, place, and circumstance, and that comes by practice. And slowly that practice becomes ingrained in us. So that is a practice. Krishna consciousness is a cultivation. Srila Prabhupada has written in Nectar of Instruction. It is an art. It is a cultivation. It is not some magic which will happen automatically. It is a art. We have to learn this art. And seeing our sincere endeavor, Krishna will make that endeavor, from conscious competence to unconscious competence. At present we may have to do something and we are conscious of it. I have to control myself. I have to control anger. I have to act in this way. I should not speak like this. It may be our conscious endeavor, right? But the more we practice bhakti, the more we will go from conscious competence to unconscious competence. It will become ingrained. Just like a person who is learning a bicycle or a car, he has to be very conscious. I have to change the conscious competence. But after some time, unconscious competence, it doesn't have to even think to put the brake. So that's what happens. Okay.
Prabhuji, eternally grateful to you for giving me the answers. I'm so grateful. Done with pranams to you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Next, I request Sukaka Krishna Prabhu. You can ask your question.
Hare Krishna, Gaur, Vilas, Hare. Thank you, Bhagavati Mataji. Prabhu, I'm just asking this: those who are practicing Krishna consciousness seriously, there is always some slip downs, some aparadhs, Vaishnava aparadh, knowingly, unknowingly it's happening. We are not having intention to do that, but it has happened and it becomes a karma. So how to burn the karmas, because our desire to go back home in this life itself. So sometimes you get pressurized, oh, kya ho raha hai, pata nahi hai, what's going wrong? Because, so just I want your answer. Age is also happening.
As soon as we realize that we have made a mistake or we have offended someone, immediately go and ask forgiveness from that devotee and serve that devotee and take blessings of that devotee. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur writes in Madhurya Kadambini, if that devotee still doesn't forgive, then there is only one way, just helplessly chant the names of the Lord and pray to the Lord that I should not repeat this mistake again. So it is our training, because we are not perfect beings, we will make mistakes. But it is not about mistakes, it is about the learning from the mistakes. If we are repeating the mistakes, then it is a big problem. To make mistakes is not a problem, but to repeat the mistakes is a big problem. So
and how to burn the prarabdha karma, because there's so many things in the past we don't know where we have done, and now we have a
prarabdha karma is already destroyed. It is not the reaction of our karmic activities of the past lives. It is the offenses which are acting on us. How to purify ourselves of the offenses? Just take shelter of the holy names of the Lord and serve that devotee. That is the only way. Bhuma uskalit padanam, bhuma veva valambanam, toi chata paradhanam, tomeva sharanam prabhu. This verse is the answer. When a small child falls on the ground, what he does? He takes shelter of the same ground to get up, right? Toi jata aparadhanam. When I am offending you, my Lord, where will I go? I will take shelter of you only. I'll give you a very relevant example. You must have seen, all of you must have seen. Small child is doing some mischief, and mother comes and slaps the child and beats the child. You know what the child does? Child holds the mother only and cries. Any of you have seen that?
Yeah.
Mother is beating him and he is holding mother only and crying. That is a devotee. When Krishna is beating us for our mistakes, where we will go? We will take shelter of Krishna only. By chanting, by praying, we will take shelter of the devotees of the Lord. And that will purify us of our offensive mentality. A humble devotee can never make offense. The more we become humble, the more we realize how insignificant we are. And how can I offend anyone? An insignificant person can never offend anyone. So the whole process of bhakti makes one humble. And the more one becomes humble, the more he gives up that offending mentality. So that is the process. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for this wonderful example and details. Thank you, Prabhuji. Next, I request Ananga Kishori Mataji, you can please ask your question.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Danvat Pranam. Prabhu, you mentioned about how Srila Prabhupada told his god brother that how much his disciples love him and are attentive to each and every word he says. Uh, like we I didn't get that opportunity to directly serve my guru or like do personal services. So and it's mentioned in CC chapter 24 that one can do devotional service for many, many lifetimes, but if there is no attachment, then Krishna will not bestow a pure devotional service. So how do we cultivate that attachment?
बहुजन्म कोरि हरि श्रवण कीर्तन तबु तो न पाए कृष्ण पदे प्रेम धन. It is about committing offenses. If we offend devotees, if we offend holy names, then we will not develop that love of God. Regarding association of the Guru and the pure devotees, Srila Prabhupada and all our acharyas, they have told many times. Amongst the Vapu and Vani, which is more important? Vani is more important. Vani Seva is more important. Of course, Vapu Seva is all wonderful. Those who get the Vapu Seva, they are fortunate. But it is not that those who don't get Vapu Seva, they are unfortunate. Niranjan Swami Maharaj, he was once asked, Maharaj, uh, uh, how many times you met Srila Prabhupada? Can you please tell some of your experiences? You know what Maharaj said? How many times I have met? He did like this. Zero. Maharaj never met Prabhupada in his whole life. And just see what type of preaching he's doing. Entire Russia, so many other countries. So it is not about getting personal association. It is about imbibing the instructions of the Guru and applying the principles in our life and helping others. That will make us qualified for liberation. That will make us qualified for love of God. And not just you, practically, I can also say the same thing. I didn't get any association or maybe few seconds of association with my spiritual master. For most of the disciples in ISKCON, it will be like the same thing. You know, one guru having 50,000 disciples or 60,000 disciples, how will the guru give time to each and everyone? Radha Swami Maharaj, he was telling once, many devotees, in the beginning days when Maharaj was not such a known figure in the world, when a small association of devotees in Mumbai, Maharaj would give time to everyone, lots of time. And now Maharaj is a next level, thousands of disciples. So the older disciples, they are telling Maharaj, you are not giving us time now. So Maharaj told in one of our counselors meeting, he said, all of you counselors, you should tell all the devotees, if they want my association, they should come to my classes. I'm giving my 100% in my classes. That is the association which they should aspire. Yeah. It is not about Vapu association. So the guru may not be physically available, reachable, but he's always there. If somebody thinks I cannot talk to my guru, I feel so far from my guru, that means we have not understood the Guru Tattva. One time, one of our devotees in Govardhan Eco Village, he asked Radhanath Swami Maharaj, Maharaj, we are here in this Govardhan Eco Village because you have given instruction. And in the beginning, Govardhan Eco Village was just a barren land. Nothing was there. And this first group of devotees who went there, it was a big challenge for them. So this devotee was asking that Maharaj, we are doing so many things here. How should we know that you know what service we are doing? Maharaj told, he asked this devotee, do you believe in Paramatma? So this devotee said, yes, Maharaj. Maharaj said, by the mercy of the Paramatma, whatever a guru needs to know will be known to him. Yeah. Connection with Guru is not just on a physical level. It is about how much we remember our Guru, how much we pray to our Guru. In that sense, we are connected to our Guru. It is not much about physical association. If we get it, great, nothing like that. But it is not that who are not getting it, they will not get the highest benefit. We can still get the highest benefit by always thinking of our Guru, by following the instructions of our Guru, by taking shelter of the senior devotees. So that is how we have to practice staying in this Krishna consciousness society. Because the logistics of our ISKCON is not like previous Gurukul, right? One Guru has had 10, 15 disciples. Guru would know everything about all the disciples. No, it is not the case now. But still, this is not any, this is not a problem. Because Krishna consciousness goes beyond all the rules and regulations and all the restrictions of the boundaries of the distance. So that's how we have to stay connected with our spiritual master, always thinking about him, always praying. Even after leaving this world, one time one disciple asked Prabhupada, Prabhupada, now you are there with us. After you leave this world, how we will be with you? How we will talk to you? How we will meet you? Prabhupada said, you think about me, pray to me, and I will come and give you all the instructions in your dreams. So a guru can do anything. So what is required is our sincere prayers, our meditation on spiritual master's instructions. That brings us close to our spiritual master. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for that detailed answer. There is one more last question by Radha Damodar Prabhu. You can please ask your question.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna Bhuji, Danda Pranam, Jai Shri Prabhupada. Prabhu, I would like to know the connection between, the aparat versus the what's the terminology? Sorry, just forgetting the word. We were just talking about aparat.
Sins.
Not karma.
Papa. Sin.
Anartha, sorry, I'm sorry. Sorry, anartha. Which comes first, Prabhu? I mean, is it due to aparad that we get the anarthas, or due to anarthas we get the aparad?
Wow. There are 4 kinds of anarthas. Sukritutha anartha, Dushkritutha anartha, Aparadha-uttha anartha, and Bhakti-uttha anartha. Okay. So there are 4 things. Sukrit-uttha. If a person has done pious activities in the past life, like helping others, giving charity, distributing food, giving education, building schools, hospitals. Sukrit-uttha anartha. You know what is that anartha which comes out of this? The desire to enjoy pious sense gratification increases. If a person does something sinful, dushkrit, what will be the result? Desire to enjoy in wrong way will increase. He will do all wrong things to enjoy. Dushkritutta anartha. All this lust, anger, greed, envy will become more pronounced. There is something called as aparadha uttha anartha. That's what you are telling. When we do some aparad, like Nam aparad, Seva aparad, Vaishnava aparad, the anartha which arises is our desire to practice bhakti will go down. We'll lose our taste for the practice of bhakti. Interestingly, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur writes that there is an anartha which arises because of the practice of bhakti. So what is that anartha which arises because of the bhakti? He says, puja, labh, pratishtha, profit, adoration, distinction. The desire for all these things may increase if we are not careful. Because the byproduct of the bhakti is one will attract followers, one will attract attention, one will attract glorification, one will be given position in the society of devotees. Devotees would come and tell, oh Prabhuji, oh Mataji, you are so wonderful. Because of you, my bhakti is growing. And we would think, yes, you rightly understood. You know, our pride will grow. So that's how we have to be careful. Whatever baggage of anarthas we are carrying, that is there. Sinful reactions are gone, but the anarthas are still there. It takes long time to purify our vasana. Prarabdha and the bij, it gets destroyed quickly. But this anartha, kuta, the sinful disposition, our vasanas take time to get destroyed. So we have to be really careful about it. Our aprad increases our anarthas. Already we are carrying some anarthas from our past lives. If we do aparad more, it will increase our anarthas more. Okay.
Okay, Prabhu.
Hare
Thank you very much. Hare.
Hare Krishna. Prabhu, can you a little bit more explain that aparad? What is that? It is desire to do aparada. That is the anartha. Like first two we understood it's because
Voice is not so clear.
Prabhuji, first two you said that desire to enjoyment was sukrututta anartha and desire to do bad things is dushkrututta anartha. In aparadutta anartha, is it the desire or tendency to do aparada will increase? What is that actually? Because of the doing aparada, anartha is there or tendency is there or desire is there?
When we do aparad, like seva aparad, nam aparad, vaishnava aparad, our desire for bhakti will go down. You will not be able to practice bhakti with enthusiasm. You will slowly, go away from bhakti. That is what happens when we do aparad. That is the anartha which arises from aparad. The anartha of going away from bhakti, losing our taste in bhakti, enthusiasm in bhakti. Although whatever we have done, that is a permanent bank account, neha vikrama nasho asti, but we will lose our password. We will lose the access to our bank account. And then we'll think, I'm not feeling inspired to practice. I'm not having that enthusiasm now. I don't know what happened. Earlier, I was so enthusiastic. I would chant in the morning, I would serve. I don't know what has happened now. That is aparad uttanartha. So we have to be really careful, not offending devotees. Try as much as possible not to offend holy names. Attentive. Of course, the solution to chant attentive rounds, solution to avoid offensive chanting is more chanting. But we have to be really careful about Vaishnava aparad. That is a very deadly thing. Matta hati aparad. Vaishnava aparad is really dangerous. It will destroy our garden of Bhaktilata. Our devotional creeper will get completely destroyed. So as a practicing devotee, however advanced we may be, how many years we may have spent in our Krishna consciousness, offense to a devotee, it is very deadly for anyone and everyone. It is not about, I have spent 30 years now. If I offend one devotee, it will not affect me. No, it is not like that. So that's how we have to be really careful about this aparadha uttanartha. Of course, because we are not consciously enjoying sense gratification, we will not do anything sinful. So dushkrit uttha and aparadha uttha, they are not so much of question. For a devotee, Dushkritutha and Sukritutha, they are not so much of concern. Aparadha Uttha and Bhakti Uttha, they are more relevant for a practicing sadhaka. So we have to be really careful about that. Okay.
Thank you.
Great.
Bhakti Utta is that we get diverted from the benefits of, but the last one is we get disturbed by the good things that is coming as a byproduct of bhakti. Just getting carried away.
Puja Labha Pratishtha comes by the practice of bhakti. That is very deadly. That is subtle anartha, subtle sex life. Profit, adoration, distinction. So that is very, very difficult to give up. So we have to be very careful. Always passing on the credits to our Guru Parampara, nothing for us. So that will keep us humble. Okay.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. So,
Krishna.
yes, we will stop here. We'll give obeisance to Prabhuji. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyeva
Patitanam
pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Gaudiya Vaishnavendra ki jai. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.
Jai.
Prabhupada ki jai. Grace Gaur Vilas Prabhuji ki jai. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
So much, Prabhuji. What a wonderful
Krishna.
class. Wonderful class. Thank you so much.
Nityananda, Gauranga,
Hare
Gauranga.